different. Hi, everybody. Like my shoulders. Can we just talk about anyone who watched Instagram live this morning, which I know April did? I'm like learning to like not really care about when you leave the house, April, with no makeup. Like normally, when you do a natural face and you're like, I'm not wearing any makeup, but you still kind of have some things figured out. No, I had like zero makeup, and I'm talking about poop on Instagram. So this is so much better than what was earlier.
No, we may be talking about poop also. So just
yeah. Well, of course, based on what your world looks like, and those of you that are hanging out with us. This is my friend April, and April and I actually met because of the world of being able to do live chats, which is awesome. And I'll let April kind of talk a little bit about, what she does, because as I started MomSimply, I actually found April, who's an expert kind of in this area, and she's been such a wealth of information. And I know you're like, what do you mean? But you have. She's kind of been a mentor in this whole world of having like a live show and what that looks like. So April, talk about kind of what your net friending movement looks like and what that is for you.
Oh, that's a big question.
I know it's a huge question, but I guess we'll start with what has net friending been for you as a mom in your situation?
Oh. Do you have about 2 years to unpack all of that? Because wow, it's been a 2-year, 2-month and 5-day journey for me. And yes, I count because it's important and it's special to me, because I was a couple of years ago, I was married for starters, and I was in a not so happy marriage at the time, and just doing the 8-to-5 job every day in corporate America. I've been at my job for 24 years at the same place.
Where do you not want to say where you work? Probably
not where,
yeah.
But it's in the healthcare field, and
okay.
It's administrative, and it's not my passion for sure. Yeah. And so I was kind of in a rut a couple of years ago, and I met this crazy, interesting, amazing, helpful cheerleader of a guy named Roy Montero on another platform called Blab, and he's been kind of walking by my side for 2 years, cheering me on and helping me stir up all of the gifts that I had that I didn't know I had, and still uncovering every day. And net friending is a vision of bringing people together, building community, and connecting people with each other. And it's such a great overlap with what I was wanting to do from the very beginning, which was connecting special needs parents.
And I think that's what I'm so grateful. And I think so many people watching that, either if they have a kid with special needs or they have someone or have encountered another parent with special needs, I think you're opening a door that a lot of people don't know about yet, that are probably craving what you were craving, but didn't know that it existed when, you were in it. So to kind of rewind a little bit, April, I want you to kind of talk about, you said it was, you used to be married, and obviously you had this, beautiful boy together, and didn't know what that world would look like once he got here. So talk a little bit about who your amazing son is, and kind of what changed once you learned about his needs. And for those of you that are just kind of tuning in, this is my friend April, and we're really trying to highlight, it's Autism Awareness Month, but a lot of times we really focus on what autism is and what the kids need. And like often as a mom, we're kind of the background supporting our kids, and especially, and I'm sure you can relate to this, April, as a mom with a child with special needs, you feel lost a little bit because you're so much focused on your child and you're advocating for them all the time, that you never have a moment that you step back and think, well, what about me? What do I need? And I see you nodding your head there. And I mean, that's the world that you're in all of the time. So kind of take us through that. You get pregnant, you have, and I know you said, it wasn't like the best marriage, but was it something that transitioned once your son came and his needs started getting more apparent, or was it kind of what it was like before?
It was looming.
Okay.
It just, oh gosh. So for starters, I was told that it was going to probably be very difficult for me to get pregnant. Turned out it really only took like 7 months. But then when I got pregnant, they told me that, I forget what all the terminology was, the numbers weren't doubling in the very beginning. And they told me to prepare myself to miscarry.
Okay.
And I literally feel like I willed and prayed my son into this world. Because
you probably did.
I did not have a tight relationship with God at that point, but I was asking people to pray for me, and I had never done that before. So he's here, he's going to be 8 actually in a few weeks.
Wow, I didn't realize he was that old.
He's old. I'm old. He doesn't speak. He's nonverbal, so that's been my biggest challenge more than anything. And my husband he still is, but he's not my husband anymore. He's a musician. And so he was working nights and weekends, and I was home with my son and couldn't really leave him with anybody because they didn't understand his needs. I didn't really barely understand his needs.
Yeah.
So we weren't connecting anymore. There were no date nights. There was no time together really at all. And it wasn't the needs of our son. It wasn't, I think a lot of parents, because autism often has so many behaviors that are difficult to manage and navigate, that the parents are usually at odds figuring out between them who's going to handle what and do what. But that wasn't our situation. It was just it was like we were living 2 separate lives. And ultimately, because of that distance, I guess, I don't know, he never told me. He ended up cheating on me. And even when I called him out on it, he denied it. But it was,
Have you found, because I know you've connected a lot with moms of, in similar situations, is it common to have marriages kind of crumble when you have a special needs child?
Yes. I don't know the statistics on it.
Yeah, I know.
Probably like 85% of marriages or relationships. Yeah, it's.
I can see why. We're so blessed. They're 2 healthy girls, and that in and of itself is super challenging. And just the typical day in and day out, it's hard. It takes so much work, and then you add in a kid who's so needing of both of your attention, and you're adding on nonverbal issues that's so strenuous. So you find out this happens, and was that kind of like a clear-cut decision for you?
The divorce thing, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm done. And
it was actually a relief though, Amanda, because I was so stuck. I was not growing, and he was kind of just wanting to remain the same, and he was good with his music life, and I wanted more. I wanted to help people, and I wanted to. My vision became that I wanted to start a nonprofit here in Tennessee, but that door I kept pushing on it, but it did not open. And I guess God has a greater calling for me in this.
Yes, he does.
Live streaming can open up so many doors because you have access to so many people.
And I think that's where, you talked about, you started this a couple of years ago, and what initially did you want to do your nonprofit in, April?
Special needs families and resources. And I had this vision of opening, like getting, I don't know, a big house maybe that had different rooms in it where kids and parents could just like have different themed rooms and be in an environment where everybody was accepting of each other, because so many families stay home and lock themselves away because they don't want to deal with the world and the staring and the behaviors of their child affecting other people.
So talk about, because I think for a lot of us who don't have kids with special needs, it's, you know, and I think there are these moments, and we're going to kind of dive into that, that when you're out and about and you see a mom, and how to be just a normal and appropriate, because I think a lot of us crave and want to know how, but we've never encountered it before. And just we're creatures of wanting to know social behaviors and norms, and we're not prepped for that. We get really uncomfortable really easy. So just to back up a little bit, just kind of do what is a day in a life of you as a mom with your son, and what his needs look like, because we know the autism is way further than what my arms can stretch in terms of the spectrum and what that looks like. So just specifically talk about your kiddo.
He is flappy and happy. That's what.
Did you coin that?
No. There's so many terminologies in the world of autism. I don't know. It's called stimming, self-stimulating behavior, and I don't really quite understand what he gets out of doing it's like really quick hand movements, and he makes a lot of noise even though he can't speak. He's very noisy.
Okay.
He makes like humming sounds, and sometimes he'll scream just abruptly and out of nowhere. Thankfully, he does not do that when we're out much. But he's sometimes more well-behaved than the typical child when we're out, and people do comment on that. And I am blessed. I was thinking before, I shouldn't even be having this interview with you, because I feel like my kid is so not the typical autistic child, and there are so many other parents out there who really struggle way more than I do. But I'm sure my time is coming, especially when puberty hits, which is like what?
Yeah, like how does that even look, especially with a kid who's nonverbal, and then because I'm sure the hormones are still existing and all of those like body changes and mood changes and all of the things that go into that. Like, how do you help make sense of when your body's doing that, but he can't verbalize like what he's feeling, what he's thinking, and
he's a boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so in for it is all I know. I don't even want to think about it.
So talk about kind of what is your, like, you wake up in the morning to going to bed at night. What does that world look like for you?
Well, melatonin is a great thing, because for the longest time he would not go to sleep until midnight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was even on school nights. And so for the longest time, my mother kept saying that I just needed to put him upstairs and let him cry it out. And I'm like, I can't do that. You don't
crying it out is so painful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I couldn't explain to him anything. You know, I don't know what he understands or how much.
Okay.
So it's not like I can reason with him, like, mommy's right downstairs. And if, so.
Right.
So melatonin became my friend eventually, thanks to Roy, my friend Roy. Because sometimes you receive advice from a friend better than you do from your parent, who's like, you need to do this. So now I give him melatonin every night. And with the exception of last night when he didn't go to bed till 11, he usually nods out in a few minutes because school pretty much tires him out.
I bet.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
sensory overload, probably, right?
That, and he has to really, if there is such a thing as thinking harder, he has to really concentrate to get through tasks at school.
Okay.
It wears him out. So a day in the life. So he's in bed like by 7:30, and obviously I do my shows at night, every night, pretty much at 8:30. I go to bed at like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning sometimes because
Oh, April.
I know. And then I'm up at like 6 to go get ready for work. So I get up and get like 30 minutes of just getting on the computer to wake up in the morning and get in the shower. And he just hangs out and watches TV. I don't worry about him like getting into anything. He's
That's
pretty
great.
chill. He'll watch TV and throw blankets on the floor like a typical child. And then I get him dressed, and he doesn't give me a problem getting ready in the morning or anything. And I take him to school. I go to work. He goes to aftercare. I pick him up from aftercare, come home, do it all. This is my whole week. Just
Yeah.
It's really a normal routine. And then Saturdays we have date lunch at Olive Garden.
Yeah, and I noticed you've been posting pictures. So how did you pick that? Because it seems that they're super accommodating, and you've really, I've noticed, shared a lot about how gracious and how just, I think, normalized they are with like not making it a thing, but they're so accommodating to you and your boy. Like, how did you discover that?
We were eating there every Saturday as a routine before he was even born. So we've been going there for like since I moved here. So 10, 11 years.
Wow. Okay.
He kind of like grew into the Olive Garden family there, and they had their staff was pretty steady for a long time. So everybody knew us. Everybody was like, when's the baby coming? And they were a part of the journey. And then as people would like leave the restaurant, there was overlap in the staff. And I guess they would say, oh, that family comes here every weekend. Their son is autistic. He doesn't speak. And they kind of, share that with each other. And it's just a thing. I mean, he has a magnetic personality, and he's unlike a lot of, there's a lot of autistic kids who don't want to be touched. They don't want to be hugged. They don't smile. My son is like the opposite. He loves attention. He loves when people dote on him, and they do that there. So he walks in like he's the king. He's
Oh my gosh, that's so darn cute. He probably feels like a mini celebrity. Like, here I come.
Yeah. He's like, all right, I'm here. Let the fun begin. And they don't they talk to him. They know he doesn't talk, but they speak to him as if he speaks. And that's what I love the most. They don't treat him differently.
And that's where I think a lot of other parents, right, struggle. And I know I've been in these situations, either because I used to teach high school English, and you so often want to do the appropriate thing, the right thing. You want to be able to connect. You want to be able to be a support for the other adult in you. And now as a parent, you want to be able to prepare your kids for these moments. And can you think of like any moments where you've been out with him, whether you're like grocery shopping or you're out at your Olive Garden restaurant date, that what do you wish like other parents knew and how to handle these situations? Because I know you talked about this world of like, it feels isolating as a parent with a special needs son. So like help me, help everyone. Like, how do we navigate these moments? What would you, in a perfect world, what would you hope how people would respond to you and your son?
I guess they should take a page out of the Olive Garden book here in East Tennessee. I wish I could seriously like put Olive Garden here on their own show.
You should almost like push your phone up, April, I'm not even kidding, on like live, like during your whole restaurant visit, just so like people can kind of observe like this. I bet that would go viral, like with how just they respond and treat.
I'm so weird about that. Like, I feel like I have to like, do you guys mind if I like, I'm live stream? I feel like I have to get everybody's permission. And people are doing it every day, but I really want to do that, and also the grocery store, because my son now has a new thing. He waves. That's his thing. Because he gets a response from people. So he does this, and he chuckles. And so now every aisle at the grocery store, he will get in people's face and smile and do this. And they love it. And I love that he knows to do that because he knows he gets a positive response.
Right.
Because I think then people are less nervous or anxious because of all the other stuff he does. He's just so darn cute and he knows it.
Well, that's huge. And I think it's a huge blessing too that he craves that interaction because like we talked about, autism is like so wide and broad that you either have that side of it or I don't want anything. I don't want any attention. And like the overstimulus of people looking, touching, looking at, like that can be super overwhelming.
But when he was younger, there was a time I remember where I had, and there's a video going around about this for several years now. It's an animation of a mom with a child having a meltdown in the supermarket, and she sits down on the ground with the child to comfort him while other people are staring with like these, looks of disgust. And then like the animation turns into real, like in person in life. And one of the supermarket people like goes to hand her purse. And I'm like, that was me. I did that once. I sat down in the aisle, the bandage aisle with him. I remember it was the first aid aisle. And just because he was having a rough time, I just took a moment and sat down. And I thought if anybody thinks anything, stares, it doesn't matter to me because in that moment, it's about my son and nobody else.
Oh, no. And I think anyone with any child can relate to that. Anyone with any kid who's ever had a meltdown or tantrum. I remember, and I don't know, I get like, you know what I mean when you pit, like when you're so stressed that you immediately just start like dripping sweat from every orifice of your body. And I had a moment with Autumn. We were in TJ Maxx and I had bought my husband's mom Mother's Day presents, my mom, like I'd spend an hour like getting these like perfect mommy day gifts. And there was kind of a line and I was kind of pushing past lunchtime and I was like, I have gold. And Autumn was melting a little. I was pregnant and she really wanted her snacks. And I'm like, okay, honey, don't worry. Mommy has goldfish. Everyone's kind of looking. It's this long line. I give her the goldfish and she just dumps them everywhere, like goldfish everywhere. And I immediately start feeling that like sweat moment. And I'm trying to pick them up. And then as I'm picking them up, trying to like talk like, oh yes, we pick up after we make a mistake, trying to be calm, cool, and collected. She then, because I'm distracted and she's, I don't know, like 2, then knocks over this whole display, just like completely everywhere. And I so badly in that moment wished I had like a mom hero or just like a mom advocate to be like, girl, I got you. Oh yeah, we're a little squirrely and like either like play with Autumn or like just help me put the things up. But the judgy looks in that moment. And I know what they were thinking. She should be down for a nap. You're a hot mess, mom. Like I could feel it. And I think everyone has kind of been there where you have to just be there for your kid. And you have to block out the world. But at the same time, you kind of crave, like, I just want another human to tell me, like, you're okay. Like, you're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm. You could always take pull-ups when you're having, I haven't used the pull-up prop because that is how I remember meeting you in your first live stream that I saw.
Gosh, it was like, on Instagram when I was trying to talk about potty training battles.
Yeah.
And you're still in like the world of obviously pull-ups too, right?
Yeah. And so I said, we might have a poop story because I think that you can relate to this. So last night he was playing upstairs while I was live streaming and I was like, oh my gosh, I'll be right back. And I like excused myself. I went up there. He had a poopy diaper.
How did you know to like excuse yourself? Like, how did you?
Because he was just playing and normally he's asleep.
Okay.
So I figured he was probably, uncomfortable because he was wet or something. And sometimes he just pulls the diaper off and there's poop everywhere. And like, so I went up there, I cleaned him and it was dark. I didn't put the big light on. And so there was nothing anywhere. So I didn't think anything. Morning, I get up, I do my thing. It's dark still. I go take a shower. I'm getting him dressed for school. And I'm like, what's on your nose? Poop. And then I go to put his shirt on, and it was all over his hand, all dry. It took me 3 or 4 minutes to scrub one hand in the sink, immersed in water and tons of soap.
And then you have to like strip all the sheets and like the whole thing. Yeah, so like that's completely your world.
Yeah, at 8. And he's outgrowing the pull-ups because, since we're into props, size 4'5".
So what do you do? I know I'm sure the pediatricians have kind of like set you up with specialists. Do you ever they don't?
No.
You don't have anyone that like comes and does like in-home?
Mm-mm.
I wonder if that's, because you said you're in Tennessee. I wonder if that's just because New York State, I know, is really good about early intervention and advocacy, and you get a lot of, before kids are school age, it's all covered by the state in terms of having specialists.
Yeah, every state has an early intervention program up to the age of 3. So in our situation, we were so fortunate. My mom was the one, really. She kept saying to me, he should be doing this by now. Why isn't he doing that? Why isn't he?
How old was he?
I knew from very, after we got home from the hospital.
Interesting.
I knew that there was something off. It was the mom's intuition. He was not sleeping at night, and he was up all night and sleeping during the day. And it wasn't like there was no overlap. It was like all night he was awake and all day he was up, and he would cry a lot. And every time, you know how the old saying, don't pick up the baby if they're crying because they're going to get used to it and they're going to want that all the time. I was like, I don't care. I would hold him and swaddle him, and he would cry harder. And I thought, I'm the worst mom ever. This kid doesn't even like me.
Yep.
But it was because he didn't, at that time, it could have gone the other way with him. I really believe, I don't know what switch flipped somewhere, but he did not like to be touched, hugged, kissed on, nothing early on.
Yep.
And he wouldn't hold his bottle. He wouldn't do tummy time. He didn't start pulling up in the playpen until he was about almost 2.
Okay.
And
so you see like all those like gross motor stuff that's not like kicking in
and fine, motor. He couldn't pinch anything with his fingers.
Because I remember with Autumn, I think it was right at her 2-year well visit, you have to do that. They give you like a questionnaire on like typical characteristics that you would see with someone with autism. Did you wait to that moment to then get like a definitive diagnosis, or did you kind of, once you see before too he's not meeting these milestones, did you kind of say, time out pediatrician, like what's going on?
Well, you know how when you go to the wellness visits, that I guess it's pretty universal that they have you fill out those, like, is your child doing this yet? Or they do. And if you circle 3 no's, then stop.
Mm-hmm.
Every single visit, I would do the first 3 were no, every visit. And I finally found a pediatrician who didn't think I was crazy, because they were all like, oh, he's just a little delayed, just a little behind. He's a boy, but the one pediatrician I had, he was with him for like an hour one day, and just observing him on the floor and just seeing what he did, how he did. And he said, have you ever heard of autism? Mm-hmm. And Rain Man was literally the only reference frame.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, but he doesn't have that. And he said, well, he might just have sensory processing disorder, because he didn't like, touching things that were wet. He didn't like touching things that were mushy, or holding things that were cold or hot. And so he was the one who referred me to the Tennessee Early Intervention Program. And fortunately, we got him in there around age 2, because age 3 is the cutoff, and they assessed him. It's not based on your finances at all. It's based on the child's needs.
Yep.
And we had physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, feeding therapy.
Wow.
And all of that. And then they help transition into pre-K in the public schools. And then you're kind of on your own. then they just abandon you.
That's crazy. So you have all of this support and then none of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, I'm sure at school he gets pulled out for all of these, right?
Yeah.
For like OT, PT, all of that.
Mm-hmm. But it's like literally 5 minutes a day, maybe. Or, I mean, they really don't invest that much time with them for those types of things. It's more, they integrate all of that stuff into the curriculum.
Right. Have you met, being at your school, any other parents of kids with special needs or on the autism spectrum?
Not on the autism spectrum, but it's
Okay.
just like a whole, it's crazy how many kids now have some type of special need. It's really becoming, it's growing at, I hate to say an alarming rate, but in my mind, it's kind of alarming because it's an indicator to me that there's something in the environment somewhere that is causing so many kids to be born with physical issues, behavioral issues, that they actually do require a lot more one-on-one in school.
So you found this like new pediatrician. Did they kind of share where they're thinking, where what this, because this is a question mark I have, right? Is it because they just have a lot more knowledge in knowing how to be specific in the diagnosis, that this has always existed, but now they have an actual name and they realize how broad it is? Or is it an influx of these are just a lot more diagnosed cases and why didn't this exist before? Has he kind of shared his thinking in regards to kids having autism now?
I think they're seeing it more. So they're just more tuned into the flags, the red flags. It really is so easy to pick them out.
Right.
Their behaviors are very similar. While no child is the same as another, there's still so much commonality that if you've heard of it, if you've heard of what those flags are, you're like, oh my gosh, my child might have autism.
Right. I have a neighbor, because I had teaching background and for a while I was tutoring on the side, and she's on the autism spectrum, but she's verbal and she's in a public school setting, and hers is, it's more on the lines of Asperger's and sensory processing. And for a while when we first started working, I mean, she's made a lot of progress, and she would constantly need to be rubbing or like pressing really hard on herself to help calm herself down. Like she needed tons of like oversensory input. She was on the opposite way, in order to feel calm and soothing. And I had, an exercise ball, and I would buy her, you can go to like Bye Bye Baby or any baby store, and they have jewelry for teething babies that you can wear. I would buy that for her to wear so she could be biting it while she was learning, because she needed that so much. Her mom made her the self-stimulation Rebecca talks about. So do you know Rebecca, April?
I know of her now because I met her actually in another live stream, Jamie Premack Sullivan's live stream, and Rebecca has a child who drowned at the age of 4.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
He's now 16 and he's on a vent, a trach, and has a G-tube, and she's like his nurse, like 7 at night until 7 in the morning, right, Rebecca? So yeah. And she's a mom who doesn't get to go out and, go on date nights, or she's committed to her son. And there's a lot more Rebeccas out there who are craving social interaction and looking to even help other people, because look, we're taking care of our kids that have special needs. Why wouldn't we want to reach out to other parents who just are seeking support?
And I think she gave you a little heart for that. That's I think so many moms are just hungry for connection. And, a lot of why I started my MomSimply platform is to stop mean moms and stop judgment and comparison, and to have more of these Me Too moments that I'm not alone. And she's been through that. She's learned from that. She's experienced that. I had that too. I'm not a bad mom, and I'm I'm not weak, and I'm not alone. You need, as a human, moments to feel that you can connect with somebody else and somebody else gets you. Because at the end of the day, we just want to be understood. We want to be heard. And I want you to kind of share for anyone who's going to be watching this. And, they're in this world where they're just pouring into their kids so much that their cup's on empty, and they think, yeah, that sounds great to self-care, but I don't have the resources to have somebody come to just watch my kid, because they are so, they have high needs, and I don't have family, and I don't have the cost to be able to afford a nurse to take care of them. So I'm home. So I'm just going to be isolated and alone. No, that's not the answer. And what April's going to share with you is that there's this other side that can wake you up and be able to connect on a human level again, and meet all of these amazing women that April's met with Rebecca, and understand each other. So I want you to kind of share this wide world of live chats and how moms can kind of tap into this community, April.
Well, I know it's scary for a lot of people to do live streaming. I am extremely passionate about this. I set out to do live streaming 2 years ago in the hopes that I would connect with other special needs moms. But for some reason, they don't want to come on camera, and that's okay. I tell people, if you come on our show, where we are there nightly, at least 4 nights a week, but now we've been doing 5 and 6 and sometimes 7 nights a week, and sometimes we go 4 hours a night. And hopefully we will eventually have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week live stream channel dedicated to special needs parents, because I know they don't sleep. And sometimes they'll be up 3 or 4 in the morning after putting in a long day with their child, and they're just alone with their thoughts, and they're depressed. And
they may not have that spouse to piggy bank off of, right? That you can be like,
that might be worse.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Because maybe you were at each other's throats and you were frustrated, and you need that girlfriend or that friend in general that can say, I'm here. I get it. I've been there. Right.
I've had people, and I have a local group here that I've kind of burned the bridges with. I started a local Facebook group that grew to 400 people, and I didn't see anybody really getting anywhere in doing the text support with each other, because you can't have a really fluid conversation and a meaningful, in-depth, when somebody's telling you at like 12 o'clock at night that they're ready to take their life, where do you go with that in text? And so I wanted to shake things up in the group, and I told them, if they're not live streaming, then I'm going to shut the group down. And they all got mad at me, because I want them to grow. I want them to know there's life beyond their child. And they think that their life has to stop right there, because they just don't want to believe that there's anything more in this world for them. I don't know why. I don't know if they're afraid to come on camera. I don't know if they're ashamed of their children, or they're afraid to share those vulnerable aspects of their life because it's so public.
Well, and I think that's part of it, right? It's super vulnerable to kind of place yourself on here. And I remember recently, one of your shows, you were sharing that, you see this confident, amazing April 2.0 when you go on that friending, and how that wasn't always you. And if you look back to probably your first video, if you could archive that to what you're doing now, it probably looks a lot different.
A lot different, yeah.
But look at how much you've grown because of it. Yeah.
And there's so many moms out there who are, they're not working. because they're with their child all day. So they don't have their own income. They're depending solely on their husband or whoever their partner is, and maybe they want out of their marriage, but they're staying in it. And I've even talked to somebody whose husband was cheating on her. She knew he was cheating on her, but she said, I have nothing else that I can do, because if I leave, I'll have no roof over my head because he's going to keep the house. And so in those situations, I want women in those situations to be empowered and to know that they can start a business through live streaming. They may not see it now, but there's so much opportunity out there, and they'll never have to leave their home. And if I can be that first example and role model, because I'd love to leave corporate America tomorrow. If I can show them the blueprint for how that's done through live streaming, I think that it's just gonna naturally, people are gonna go, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it. And now I don't have to be in this crappy marriage anymore, or I can feel confident in who I am and know that I'm not just a mom, and I can find a better relationship with somebody who's going to be a full partner in helping me parent my child, and I'm not doing it alone.
And I think that, you're talking about so much growth in terms of your personal growth toward understanding self-love again, allowing yourself to only accept, this bar of love, as opposed to, because we set the standard for how we're going to be treated. And so you're sharing this could be a realm of when you're feeling stuck, you're feeling alone, whether it's within your marriage or whether it's because of, your child with special needs and how isolating that can be, or your friendships. We set the standard for how others are going to love on us and how they're going to treat us. And to also open this world that when you do anything uncomfortable, that's because you're growing. You're kind of shining your rock. You're polishing your rock a little bit. And I recently, made the comparison that, if you think of a river, for example, you have like a really jagged stone with rough edges. And until you toss that stone in a moving river of life and you bang it up on a bunch of stuff, because the things that are hard, the things that give us adversity, the obstacles that we overcome, those are the things that are painful. That's what smooths that rock out. That's what gives us character. Or you go on live streaming, you go on a live chat for the first time and it's uncomfortable, it feels weird, but your rock's getting polished and you're growing and you're being able to connect, and you are able to come out on this other side that it's scary because it's unknown. You don't know what it's going to look like, but it can be so beautiful and going to be so empowering for you as an individual. And I think that's what April's trying to share with all of you. And as a parent with special needs, when you feel that you can't leave the house, you have people on here craving to connect with you. And April has her show called Net Friending. Every night she's on at 8:30 without fail. And it's, when I was first starting to do this, that's how I found this. Like, I'm looking at different platforms, and I just kind of, through the world of Facebook, kind of found this and started watching these. And I don't even know how I became a guest for the first time. I don't know if you invited me or if I just started talking on your show and you allowed me to be a guest for the first time. But can I just tell everybody, it was wonderful just to talk to complete strangers about any random thought that was in my mind. Really, honestly, because you have no predisposition of who I am as a person. So you kind of can just share anything without this, who does Amanda think she is all of a sudden? Get over that. Nobody knew I was doing these things, but it was great to be able to share these thoughts I had with other people who didn't know me, because it can be super uncomfortable to do something for the first time.
I remember I met you initially in the Belivers group. I think you said something about your page, and that you had a show, and it's MomSimply, and I see the word mom, and I'm like, oh, who's she? Because
Oh, okay, yeah.
it caught my eye, and I think that's how we initially connected. But you checked out the show, and what I loved about Amanda was she just jumped right in, like, I'm here, let's go. And that's exactly what we do. There's nobody doing that, or at least I shouldn't say nobody. I don't know. There's 2 billion people on Facebook, but I really don't think there's that many people doing a show where you're inviting people to just join in and meet and greet with each other.
Right.
Like a coffee clutch. I don't know. Most of these shows have agendas and bullet points and step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll get to be somebody that you never thought you could be. I don't know what people do shows on, but we just want to talk to people and get to know who they are so we can connect them with the right people. Because I have connected other people together who were in need of resources or for an opportunity to get on somebody else's show so they could get more visibility in whatever their message was. And that's really what it's all about, is just providing an environment where people can connect with other people they didn't even know they were searching for, but God had a plan to bring them together through us. And it's a beautiful thing to witness when people connect with each other, and the energy and chemistry and synergy is spot on.
And I think you nailed it on the head. You don't know who God intends you to connect with. And I think of, I don't want to get her name wrong. She's that adorable, she's either from Russia or is it Uma?
Poland, I think. Poland.
Okay, what's her first name?
Ula,
yes. And Christy. And, they're such strong women on camera, and just with how they present themselves and how they think. And if I didn't know, I would have never guessed that, they're on here because they have kids with special needs, and this is kind of the world that they've needed to create for themselves. Never would have known that. And to see such amazing, powerful individuals like you, like them, designing your own world. This is going to sound so cheese, and I'm sorry, but I'm like, we just bought The Greatest Showman. Have you watched it, April?
No.
I don't know if you're a theater kid at heart, but Hugh Jackman and the singing and it is amazing. It's amazing. And there's this song, and it talks about, create the world you design. Like, we can create a world of our own, the world we design. And that's kind of what you're doing right now, is you're designing a world via the web, via live internet chats for parents to find a version of themselves that maybe they didn't know existed before.
Yes, exactly. And they're going to be uncomfy doing it because they're so used to doing things the way they've always been used to doing them. And if they really stop and do a self-assessment, they'll realize it's not gotten them where it is they really want to be in life. And we're not for everybody. I know we're not for everybody, but if there's people out there who really are stuck and they really want to put in the work, which really isn't work at all because we make it fun, to change and to become a better version of themselves, then we're here. And we're not going anywhere because we know that this is the plan that God has for us to help other people. So,
it's way too valuable. You better not go anywhere. It's way too valuable. Do you have your top shows right now, April, that you'll plug into of other moms who, like when you need, I need another mom who gets it. Like, what are your top places that you'll kind of plug into right now?
I don't know. There's only one person that I watch consistently is Jamie Premack Sullivan. And it's not because she's a mom. Well, she is a mom, but she's more geared towards the setting yourself straight. You know, she calls herself old Jamie and new Jamie because she used to want to like fight with everybody and argue about stuff, and now
she's coffee talk, right?
Coffee talk, yeah. So I watch her because she's real. She does it in her pajamas. Today, I think I saw her, and she was sitting in front of Caesar's Palace in Vegas for her new movie that she pitched, and it's going to be in the theaters on Mother's Day, called Breaking In. And she was just started tearing up, and she's like, I don't know why. It's just something's heavy on my heart, and I'm not wanting to share it today. But the whole time, the tears, she was fighting it. And I just love people who are willing to be real and share what they're going through day in and day out, because they're going to share something with somebody else that's going to resonate with them.
Right. And aren't those so amazing aha moments when it's like somebody pulled that from your heart and placed it in their mouth and said it, and it's like, oh, they verbalized the exact thing I just experienced. Thank you. Yes, I didn't have words for it, but you just gave me the words. Love that. Thank you.
Held it, right? And you did that for me yesterday. Just saying.
Which is amazing because, and can we just talk about like the power of praise and how more often it needs to happen when, if you're thinking a good thought about somebody, to not just think it, but to actually just tell them the exact thing that you're thinking, because don't assume they know. Don't assume they already believe those things about themselves, because oftentimes I don't think we verbally affirm one another enough. And we all crave it so badly. We all want to be told that we're good enough, that somebody believes in us, that somebody sees the things that we're doing. I mean, we only can pat ourselves on the back so often, and we all are so self-critical naturally all of the time, that we so badly need to verbally affirm one another more.
Indeed. That is like the theme of net friending, championing other people. And oh, look who's here. Are you supposed to be like running a show on our page right now or something?
It's hard for me to like, I feel like there should be a button and Roy's voice can just like come in over.
Yeah, so yes, those whenever you have a positive and kind thought about somebody, I am with you. Say it out loud, say it to them, say it publicly, because somebody else will receive a blessing from that moment as well.
Yeah, publicly. And one thing, any of you who are thinking about net friending, one thing April does, and she co-hosts with Roy, that I think's so profound, is they talk in front of people's back. And if everyone's like, wait, what did she just say? No, I literally just said talk in front of somebody's back, because they purposely talk about you, so that's what we should be doing. If you're going to say something about somebody, you should just say it. And because it's purposeful, that you're not hurting them, but you're helping them grow. And you're not saying something that's hurtful, but you're helping, share something that needs to be heard, whether it's good or whether that's something that maybe needs to be changed. But there's nothing that's ever hidden. There's no hidden agendas with them. And that can be a question too, that I don't know if I want to go live and my voice is out there. Net friending's such a safe spot to start this, especially for moms of, individuals with needs, and you have all these thoughts going on and you want a platform to just ramble your philosophies of life. These are the people to do that with, because it's just this open communication of everybody thinking freely without judgment. And what a gift that is. What a gift to not feel that there's a facade, that they're just nodding their heads absently. And then as soon as you click off, they're saying something that they would not necessarily say in front of your face. Because guess what? They just say it as it comes, as they're talking. And that's what's so profound about you two.
You just want to make me cry, right? Because
no, but it needs to be said. It needs to be said.
Thank you for that, because there's a lot of people who just don't see it. Because they're so used to doing the talking behind people's backs thing. And so it's almost like, you're going to talk publicly about us? Yes, because we're blessing you with the information we're giving you that's going to help you. And they just don't see it. And so then, they get their feelings hurt, but that's on them because I can't hurt your feelings. We give too much control to other people. I know this has nothing to do with autism, but we give too much control to other people instead of just taking ownership of what we're feeling and thinking and saying. And there's just so many, it's not just special needs parents. There's so many people who can benefit from joining with us and leading their own tribes and whatever it is that they're doing. Because I know you have moms who come and watch your show that are doing all their own little things, some just have a message to share, but some have their own businesses, and live streaming is the way to connect with other people. There's nothing like it. You can post you could boost a Facebook ad, but you're not really connecting with anybody. You're just pushing your text out to the masses, and you don't really know who's hearing your message.
And that's it. That's the key. It's connecting on a human level. And in order to do that, you need to be okay with being vulnerable, with putting your face out there, with sharing your thoughts, and know that it takes growing pains. I know Rebecca talked about that. Growing pains, in order to have growth, to reach our potential, we have to push through those really uncomfortable moments. And I know I'm doing that every time I go on here. If we look back, April, to my first video, my first guest canceled. I didn't talk about it, but it was one of my cousin was supposed to do a live with me, and she got really overwhelmed last minute. And I just went by myself for an hour talking about bedtime battles as my husband's trying to put our two kids screaming downstairs to bed by themselves.
Oh, wasn't it fun?
Oh, it was it was like a sweaty, scared mess, but I did it and I got through it. And the point is, each time I go on here, it's about getting out of my own head, right? And it's thinking about what's my greater end goal, because we all have a greater end goal that we're trying to achieve. For my personal, it's creating a platform for moms to feel like moms have a voice, give moms a voice. It's not about my show. It's about me hosting my friend and sharing how awesome they are and just making a platform for that. So just getting out of my own way a lot of the time is the biggest thing. And that's a lot of it. Think of everyone as a gift to share. And any mom who's watching this and you want to, come on and share your gifts, get out of your own way and don't shut that inner mean girl off who's telling you can't do that or you're going to look ridiculous. Shut her down. Tell her to go away. You don't have time for her. And bless other people with you, because we need more of you. We all have something to bring and to share with the world. And April, you have tons of blessings, which is why this next week you're going to start designing your courses so that people can take them, because you're so techie and brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. Amanda stirred up some gifts for me yesterday, and it was an aha moment that, yeah, I couldn't let that go without letting you know that you blessed me and got me excited. I was not excited. Now I'm excited. I have an entrepreneurial mindset now, thanks to Amanda and a new friend of ours, Lorenzo, and it just all came together. And I don't have all the puzzle pieces. Okay, maybe I have too many puzzle pieces. I just don't know how to put them all together yet, because we need the people to help us. So bring us some people.
So those of you watching, come watch April. Find on Facebook Net Friending. I'll blast it back on there, Net Friending. So this is, it's Autism Awareness, and we talked about what that world looks like for special needs parents. But this is for anybody who, you feel stuck in your life, right? Regardless if you're physically stuck, you can't leave your house, or you're just stagnant and that is there something more? What else is there? Start here as a way to start getting those juices flowing, to start sharing those thoughts and ideas, and have other people piggyback off of what you're thinking, and to give you real feedback, real honest feedback that's not biased. It's not family, it's not personal friends, but it's people who are just hungry to help other people grow. Because I really think that's what you and Roy are about. You're just really hungry to help people.
And, you know, the beautiful thing too is, in case you didn't notice, that guy, Roy, comes on as the voice only, because my techie self, thanks to a couple other people, because my brain by itself is just not this genius, I can bring people on voice only through another platform and another software. So you don't even have to show your face. We bring plenty of people on where, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in my PJs, I'm in bed, my hair's a mess, I have no makeup on.
Oh, that's so good to know. I'm glad you said that.
We just need your voice, and we can have a conversation. It's so much easier than text, especially with this 11-second delay between Facebook and the actual live stream. So
that's a really good point, and something that I never realized, but I'm glad I know that now. Well, April, you are amazing, and I'm excited to watch your net friending tomorrow morning, which I always do. I always watch on the replay.
We know we're going to be talking in front of your back right after I leave here. Roy's like, don't forget, come back to our page after you're done with Amanda, and we're going to talk in front of her back.
I would expect nothing less. I would expect nothing less.
Awesome.
Well, you're wonderful, and I'm so excited to come on again. I need to like carve out time to just come on with you guys again.
It's not like you don't know what time and day we're on.
Oh, I totally know what time and day. I just need to convince my husband that, yes, I love you, but I really want to go do this thing.
Okay. Just 20 minutes. We just need you for 20 minutes.
Oh, I can totally do 20 minutes. Done.
Yeah. There you go. If you don't make your commitment public, then
oh, you're not. Yeah, exactly. You have to be accountable. You have to publicly be accountable for what you're going to say. Otherwise, you won't do it.
Yeah. And you all are witnesses. She just said 20 minutes. I'm doing it. You heard her.
Got to do it.
Here.
Put the pull up on, April. You got to put it on before we go.
No, do you know my hair's already a mess? I got another show to do.
All right, I won't let you fluff it up. I showered for you, so you're welcome.
Aww. And you put on lipstick.
Actually, this is just a lip gloss. This is my natural lip tint.
Oh,
it's like orangey red, and I did eye makeup though.
Oh my gosh.
I tried for you tonight. You're welcome.
Thank you. I think you should put on a pull-up. I think it's only fair.
I know. I don't have one handy. I have my daughter's toothbrush, though.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. Well, you're wonderful.
We break any topic for our friends who jump in a seat with us at any time, Roy said. So
I'll throw that up.
I think he's talking at you. He's talking to you.
Okay, good. That's good to know. So when I pop in, I'll be like the breeze, the wind. I'll just fly in and then fly away.
And you don't even need your makeup on now that you know you could just come on voice only.
Oh, no, you literally changed my world saying that. Because that's my biggest flub is I'll be like folding laundry or doing whatever things. And I'm like busy doing, but I can talk while I'm doing the things.
See?
You rocked my world, April.
I know. We're going to see you soon.
Oh, you guys are fun.
Well, I'm wondering why Roy is not doing our show right now. That's what I'm wondering. He was quiet. And I wonder if he was able to not go live without me, because that would be a hoot.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
All right, friend. Well, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad your daughter's feeling better. And I hope that continues.
Oh my gosh, that was the worst day.
I know.
Literally, hands down, one of the worst moments as a mom. But it's, it put things in perspective, right? That today, I have this Marco Polo app with some of my friends from high school. where it's like, it's this live video, but it's only to like a very specific audience. And it's a great way for us to all keep in touch all the time. So I was complaining about like very first world problems. And I stopped myself and said, you know, thank God this is what I'm back to complaining about, because Monday I was praying that she wasn't going to need surgery and have her appendix out. Yeah. So thank you so much that I'm back to complaining about first world problems.
There you go. That's the spirit.
Yeah, all perspective for sure.
That's why I love this woman. See, she knows where it is and what's up and all that.
I try. I was a mess Monday. Mess. Doctors were amazing. And it was terrifying, but Lee and I kept trying to be super optimistic. You know, it's probably just this, or, you know, it can't be these things. And the doctors went in saying, we go in assuming the worst, and then we work backwards. And I thought, oh, that's pessimistic, but thank goodness they do that. Thank goodness they assume the worst case scenario when it comes to kids. And because you know that they're doing everything imaginable to advocate for your kiddo. And who wouldn't want that?
But we are not doctors, so we don't have to go to the negative thoughts first. We should say, what if she's going to be okay? What if it's just a bug that'll be gone tomorrow?
Yeah, and that's all we kept saying. Like, isn't her tummy's probably just tender from her getting sick, right? That's why she's so upset. That's why she's a little bit dehydrated. That's it, right? Yeah, but you know, the fact that they check everything under the sun and check it again to make sure that it's not all of these other terrible things it could be. They're wonderful. They were so accommodating. They were so nurturing. They gave her a stuffed animal. They had bubbles. They had iPads. I mean, they were a blessing. Strong Memorial Hospital of Rochester, New York. This is my plug for you. You're phenomenal. I couldn't love anymore. From the cleaners up to clean the room to the top doctors, everybody in between, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
We need more of those.
Oh gosh, yes. Absolutely.
All right. I guess that's a wrap. I need one of those things. I'm sure I could get one on Amazon.
Remember Full House?
Yes. I did that on the show the other day.
You did?
I did a shout out to Joey. Yeah.
I'll just do a quick look at, I've been trying to work out again.
Oh my gosh.
Look at my little baby muscle trying.
Oh my goodness. Yes, the Amanda is as real as it gets. As real as it gets.
All right, friend.
Well, I hasn't been out much in the last few days, so yeah. Peace out.
Peace out, girl. I'll be seeing you on Upfriending.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.